Alright, so on this episode of Giggens Fixes Things, we're going to be looking at Smokey Robinson and the Miracles' 1967 album Make It Happen, featuring such classics as The Love I Saw in You Was Just a Mirage and The Tears of a Clown, which was released as a single several years later and became a pretty big hit for them. So the record itself definitely needs to be cleaned. There's some scratches and scuffs and all kinds of good stuff all over it. It's not too bad. I mean, it's going to be crackly when it plays. There's no doubt about that. But the spindle hole has seen some better days. But the jacket itself is okay. It just happens to be a gatefold right now, which obviously was not the original intent, but we'll fix that. The original inner sleeve has a giant tear going through it. Pretty much big times. That thing is pretty much toast. It also had this inside it, which is the inside of the Blue album from the Beatles. So it's got the lyrics to all your favorite Smokey Robinson and the Miracle songs like Hello, Goodbye, and The Fool on the Hill. But luckily enough, I do have a brand new copy, pretty good copy of the original inner sleeve. So we'll be using that today for this. So let's just clear these things out of here. All right. So supplies that we're going to be using here are the record brush and cleaner, so we can clean the record, and this glue. So this is, let me get to the light here. This is Elmer's Extreme. It's great. It dries clear, and it does an amazing job of being super, super sticky, which is awesome. And some Q-tips, which are essential to stuff like this, because this is a pretty intense build here. Usually it's like just a piece or two of like, you know, something up here that might be kind of falling off, but we're going to be replacing the entire thing. Or not replacing, but fixing the entire thing. So with that, let's at least start with the record and move forward from there. Alright, so in cleaning the record, I like to use the stuff that you get just, you know, from a general record cleaning kit, which happens to be your RCA D4 Plus disc washer fluid. So just some drops like that, nothing crazy. Then the record brush itself shows you some lines to work with, so go like that, and then you dry using the other side. So I'm going to see if I can do this without having my camera fall off of here. This might not happen, but basically, so I've cleaned both sides, and it's definitely scratchy, but I got a lot of the dust and dirt that was off. Look at that one. Oh man, that is rough. That's not gonna come out. That's gonna leave a mark. So, not too bad. Side 2 spindle hole looks pretty good actually. So, it's not gonna be a super playable record, but you know, something to see if I can experiment putting something back together again. So, that's that anyway. All right, now it comes to the gluing of the jacket. So again, this is the Elmer's Extreme school glue stick that I like to use. Again, sorry for the lighting here. My lighting staff isn't paid appropriate enough, which is me. So we're gonna use that and some Q-tips to kind of just apply it a little more evenly in some of the smaller spaces, because when you open this up, you're gonna want to try to match what's happening here. So here's your main, you know, lip of the jacket here, which should actually rise up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. It moves up a little bit. We're gonna match that to this on this side, and the one at the bottom is pretty much non-existent. The middle bit looks pretty good actually. We can repair some of this up here though. We'll make sure that's nice and tight again. So we'll do a pretty even strip across the top of the bottom, and just make sure nothing really gets onto this part of the jacket, just because when you close it, you don't want that to tighten up on its own together, and then you won't be able to get the record inside the jacket. So let's do that. All right, so I'm gonna try to do this one-handed as I'm holding the camera, because my other means of doing this was not going to work too well. So I'm gonna aim for just the toppermost of the poppermost here. Trying to get some more glue out of there. Sorry for my giant close-up of hands here. And just gonna go out of here. Goes on really smooth and it dries super clean and clear, which is excellent. So we'll get a bunch of that going. Do the same for up here. And while that's doing its thing up there, we'll hit the bottom here and continue on. Inside's done. We need to focus on the tops and the sides. So right now you see a lot of cracking and splitting up top just from matching the paper up again. So we're going to repair all that. The side isn't too, well, it's kind of beat up. Let me see if I can get a bit of angle of that. Yeah, so we can fix that too. So basically, you're just going to match, you know, the paper to paper and kind of even that up a little bit and smooth that out. And the bottom is completely wrecked as well. So that's the next part there. Oh, sorry for my Subway cup there. There's a plug for you. And so we're going to smooth that out in the next part of the video here. I wish I could show that better, but with no tripod and only 2 hands for the time being. You'll just see a before and after. So here it comes. All right, so I was able to repair pretty good job of it. So what you want to look for is, well, that's coming apart already, but you want to match up the paper as much as possible. So there was a lot of folding to put the paper back to where it was. So what was not there, it obviously isn't there anymore, but you know, what I was able to put together came out pretty well. I was able to get the whole, almost all of the name of the group back on there and the album cover name and the dots there before the Tamla logo. So it's still in need of repair, but you know, as far as phase 1 goes, this is pretty much the way it's going to look. It won't get too much better than that because there's not much there to work with, but the top came out pretty good. I gotta fix the edge of that as well. So the next part from here, whenever I clean off record jackets, I don't really use any chemicals or anything. I just wash my hands with soap and water, and with a paper towel, I just dry them off, and then what is left is a little bit of a damp paper towel, and that does a really good job of getting rid of any sort of dirt and grime, and makes the cover feel nice and smooth. So that's how I take care of cleaning album jackets. I don't press super hard, and the towel cannot be wet, but it could be a little bit damp, and you got a bit of a drier part. You just quickly dry it off as you go. But so let me see if I can do this with one hand here. Not gonna happen so well, but let's try that. Okay, not bad. So a little bit of a smudge there. Let's see if this will come off at all. No, that's pretty much on there. But basically, after you wipe it off, you'll be able to see any sort of stuff that came off on the paper towel. So let's try that and see what happens. So a very, very tiny bit of some dirt and dust and grime came off. You could barely see it there. Mostly on the front cover. You know, a lot of fingerprints happen where you hold the sleeve to open it up. So that's why this is always dirty and this side's always dirty, because that's how you hold the record to get the record out. So not too bad. Next step is to let it dry for a little while and see how the sleeve fits in there, and then any sort of touch-up work we might need to do from there. Dried, and we got this as clean as we possibly can, which isn't too bad. And the jacket's really in pretty decent shape, bar for the fact that it was a gatefold, but the opening is pretty solid. So we got that sealed up top and sealed at the bottom, and now we can slide the record in, and it looks pretty good.